So now that we're at it, now that we're on our second game, I really do want to talk about the it spotlight concept that Rarick links, Wheat draws, and first encounter assault made together for it. I said that already. Um, and I really like it. It feels wrong to just like pull it up and just watch it on my stream, especially since I plan to make this part of the stream a YouTube video. But I guess it's more or less a reaction, just just one that I don't want to put in too much footage of their video. I really do like how they did Pennywise. Pennywise's ability is essentially to spawn balloons whenever he wants. And he has three different colored balloons, one red, one yellow, and one blue. Red gives a distant terror radius, yellow impedes healing and repair speed by, I believe, 10% if I saw Wheat Draws' tweet correctly. It's not in the video exactly how much, but I think that's how much it is supposed to be. And finally, the blue balloon blocks nearby pallets. All of them give a slight audio notification, just a little thing to let you know they're there, and they can be popped by survivors. And I believe, if I read it right, that Pennywise has 2 chances to manifest between the 5 balloons he's available to spawn. I'm gonna get this woman now, hold on. Gotcha. And he has 2 chances to manifest. Under that, there's gonna be a cooldown. From how it seemed, it's similar to Hags' traps, but Hags simply has more traps. I saw 2 over there. Got you, at least. It's the Leon. Bless your soul. And this is Scourgehook, so where are they? Where do I go? Got you. We'll head over to the Dwight. So that is essentially his power. That is what he does. He sets up... He's like a more of a chase hag, in my eyes. Hag is not really meant for chasing. You can play her more offensively, but I don't believe it's really what she's meant to do. What the hell you think you're doing, Left 4 Dead Dwight Ellis? And I definitely don't hate it. It does suit Pennywise. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's way too simple of a power. And coincidentally, it's very similar to my idea of a power that I gave Chucky for my own Child's Play idea. So my idea for Child's Play for Chucky was, instead of being a doll all the time, which is, I know what he's known for, but he was also a man at one point who simply put his soul into that of a doll. So I thought, what if in his base form he was a man? And he had the ability to set up dolls that he can possess from anywhere and teleport between. And what his power would do as a doll was he'd be idle, but he would get a loud noise notification when someone is in his vision cone, and you as the player would have basically to time it like a beam, like this right here with Artist that I'm doing right now. If they're within that beam, you can lunge on them like Victor, and you could insta-down them if you land them. They would receive a hard skill check. If they succeed it, they're deep wounded, and if they fail, they're down. That was my Child's Play idea. The survivors wouldn't know which ones you're possessing if you are possessing any, except for when you're ready to pounce, because there's like a 2-second animation, like about as long as it takes for Artist here to summon up her hand here. That second animation is basically your face developing scars, like how Chucky's known for. And once that's done, you will leap, like Victor. They would receive their difficult skill check, and as I said, if they succeed, they're deep wounded. If they don't, they're downed. I feel like the main reason Chucky doesn't work normally is because of his size. Like, we need a tall-ish person to be able to do the heavy lifting, literally carrying someone, and he just can't do that being small. And even though I designed this power for him to also have a human form, I thought if we did want him to be small all the time and have a different power, what we could do is that he would essentially carry you by lifting you up with telekinesis, and the survivor would be about normal shoulder length if it was another killer. Or there would just simply remove hooks altogether, and there would be a animation for when Chucky downs someone, and it would be the Ade Dewey Dendalan spell, where it takes about 10 seconds, which is the max it takes for someone to wiggle out of your grasp, but you can be kicked during this time. That was one idea, but I don't think I like it as much because it basically null and voids wiggling. You cannot wiggle against this idea, and that's why I prefer the more telekinetic carrying, if we're thinking of a different power entirely. But I do like my power for Chucky. I think it's malicious, I think it's surprising, I think it's playful, which is exactly what Chucky is. But we should be talking about Pennywise, honestly, because that's what led me to it. So Pennywise's power, like I said, is to develop 3 different types of balloons that he can teleport between. And I just thought it was very coincidental that it was so similar to my idea with Chucky. That's all I wanted to say about that. And so I did kind of think of my own Pennywise concept power. He would still have balloons. He wouldn't have 5. He would have more like 3 or 4. And the objective, the thing, they would do the same thing as red balloons as what they do in the spotlight already, which is give a, I think they made them oblivious or made them hear dysenterias. Yeah. Well, my idea was summoning 3 or 4, no, 4 or 5, 4 or 5. That's a better number. 4 or 5 would make them oblivious. But you can only do that in the Pennywise form. That's right. Pennywise would have a spider-like form as well that he could shapeshift freely between about a 4-second animation. He would have a spider form. He would crawl about. He would have the same movement speed, but obstacles, pathways, vaults, some of which, depending on how big they are, would be restricted. So you cannot vault. Well, actually, you can vault. That is not correct. You can vault because you need to in order to describe, in order for this power to work that I'm about to say. So as a spider, your ability is to... Did you crash? I might have for a moment earlier. But anyway, as a spider, your ability would be to essentially create a thick web line between a pallet or vault, and essentially activating one as a survivor activates the other. So if you pull down a vault that's connected to a, no, if you pull down a pallet that is connected to another pallet, it throws down the other. If you connect the pallet to a vault, throwing the pallet blocks the vault, and vaulting the window uses the pallet, throws down the pallet. This form does not have a cooldown, but you cannot, the power itself, webbing, does have a cooldown. You can still attack, you can still lunge, but you cannot pick survivors up, or kick gens, or close the gate. Close the hatch. Basically, anything that progresses the game, you need to have the clown form on. I need you to stop screaming at me so I can keep talking. And this would be his form, essentially. Just a more scaled down version of this, so it's about human size. I found this form and I liked it a lot, but it's just a smaller version of this, about human size. So that was his power for me. That was my idea of his power. So you could set up 5 red balloons to make people oblivious to you. And you can also shapeshift into a spider form that I just showed to web interactables. I just dubbed them both as interactables. And whenever a survivor uses an interactable, it uses up the other, or blocks it, essentially. And the way you connect them is, the way you connect these two things essentially by vaulting them if it's a window or a thrown pallet, or just spinning it if it's a non-thrown pallet. The web itself is breakable by survivors, but they cannot cross it. So you can also shut down loops with it. The max would be about 12 meters. I think that's not enough. I mean, not enough. I think that is enough. Tell me if you think it should be less. But I think that's good enough. A 12-meter long web that can be pulled apart. And if more people are on the web pulling it apart, then it goes away quicker. Oh, thank you for the party streamers. I like my power a lot. It does kind of remove the strategic element of being able to teleport, but I just think it's more creative. It's more creepier, I suppose. And things like add-ons when survivors are near balloons would give them additional effects like killer instinct or shit like that, or hemorrhaging if they're hurt or something like that. They can still be popped, of course. And one thing I loved that I did not mention yet, that I loved in this spotlight, is that some add-ons, the spotlight that they made, Rare Earth Links, depending on your add-ons, you can start the trial looking like another killer. And by God, I love that idea because it makes sense. If Pennywise feeds on your fears, and at this point, I sort of consider the survivors as like they canonically did enter the fog in about 2016. So a lot of them would. I feel like time does still pass in the fog. Okay, we kind of got someone there. I feel like time does still pass in the fog, and these survivors can recognize previous killers that they fought. And I think some of them would have specific fears to specific killers, and he DC'd a beautiful. And I don't know, I just really loved that idea. One add-on lets you start off as a plague. Actually, let me bring it up. Let me bring it up because I want to be able to be accurate about it. I don't really care about this game. I just want to pay homage, I suppose, to this video because it was so good. And I obviously will be leaving it as a link, but in the description. So yeah, the Plague add-on. Whenever a survivor pops the balloon, they suffer from, what does it say? Broken. They suffer from broken, and you start the game as Plague. Oh hey Meg. Hey Meg. She doesn't know I'm streaming. Sometimes, okay. And another add-on lets you start the game as Legion. And popping a balloon with this add-on provides the, fuck, I wish the text wasn't so fucking small. Is highlighted. They're highlighted by Killer Instinct. And Lost Shoe, this add-on makes it so you start off as the spirit, and you get a passive phasing effect when you manifest, which means teleport in their video. But I would say, from my idea, it would simply be when you pop them. Like when you pop a balloon as a survivor, the next time you're getting chased, there's going to be a phasing effect on him. Sorry, I'll pay more attention to the gameplay now of what I'm actually doing. I'll pay more attention to what I'm doing now. But yeah, I really do like my concept. I don't like how they named him the Fear Eater. I think that's a very lame name. It's not inaccurate, but it is just weird. I do like the Deadlight more, because what Deadlights are is it's the type of demon Pennywise is in Stephen King's universe. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I like the Deadlight more, just as how like Pinhead is the Cenobite. So I'd want to name him the Deadlight, but it's not super important what he's called, honestly. So I suppose, in short, just in conclusion, Pennywise's power is the ability to summon red balloons that makes survivors oblivious if they're near. And in his spider form, he can bind pallets and vaults together to cut off loops, as well as to cut off options for when they decide to use one or the other. And with these special add-ons, you will start the game at looking as either the Plague, Legion, or Spirit, and whenever you injure a survivor, you go back to looking like Pennywise. And whenever a balloon is popped, depending which add-on you have, a specific thing will happen. And I got her good with that. With those birds. I feel like I'm doing well in this game, but I don't feel like it's earned. Like, she's literally standing still. Well, I guess it was a good game to kind of be half focusing on. You good? You good, girl? Okay. Almost. And also, Chucky's power was to place dolls of himself. He would have like a max of 8 or 9. And if a survivor crosses a path of a doll, you can possess that doll. You can possess the dolls at any time, but emerging from one is loud. And if you wish to pounce on a survivor that is within your range, then you can, but they have an option to be either deep wounded or downed, not just always down. And that's it. That's both my version of Pennywise and Chucky. You got 2 for 1 in this video. I wish I had more editing skills to make this idea cooler looking. instead of just background information with me talking. But hey, we all start somewhere. And that pult is thrown. Pult. Pallet. I kept saying vault when I was talking about the spider power. I'll let the kid go free. I'll let the kid go free. She had a bad game. Oh, where's that vault? I will be leaving 2 links in the description. The video I kept talking about, the Rare Earth Links It sponsor Spotlight, and as well as First Encounters Assault's Child's Play music concept, because I think it's very well done. And I don't know, I just find it very, very fun to just think about what else this game can be, what else we could do with it. It's one of those games that you can just keep adding content to, and it will, as long as you do that, it doesn't get stale. Of course, there's the factor of like bugs and addressing controversial decisions and a whole bunch of other malarkey. And yeah, behavior does deserve to be scrutinized. Nothing is above criticism. But it is what it is, and it's just fun to imagine what could be. So yeah, thank you. Bye.